Okay, chapter books. I have a couple piles, well, maybe three or four piles this size to show you. Just a quick review. This was in our beginning readers, but Billy B. Brown and Lily the Elf and Hey Jack all have this spaced out lines with a large font. So they're a great bridge between the picture book to the chapter book. So don't forget about those. And Billy B. Brown, there is a set where you can get three bound together, three each and three. So you get nine for $24.99, which only makes them $2.78 each instead of the five. So definitely ask your brand partner about that. And then we have sticker dollies. These are so fun because you know how kids love stickers. And there's one page of stickers in the front, and there is a page to put them in here, but you can put them wherever you want. Pretty simple wording, pictures on every page. They are the heroes. They save the day. That's always fun. And then we have Izzy the Inventor. I love these. There's two of them. They have rhyming rabbits, which is always fun, right? So Izzy is a scientist, but she gets thrown into a fantasy world, and she uses her science to help her get out by making slime for the trolls. So there's actual experiments in each of the two of that series. Then we have Secret Scribbles. There's a whole bunch of these. It is her diary. You can kind of see the monochromatic in there. Keeps it very interesting for the kids, and you can see how the words are super fun there for Olivia's Secret Scribbles. And then as you get up a little bit, you're going to run into Ella's Diaries, a little bit older, a little bit more words, a whole nother series of these. And there is a set of these as well. Let me peek. There's 14 for 70, so that saves you a little bit of money there. And then Princess Bettany, you can get all four for only $24.99. And this is what this looks like inside. So we're starting to get a little older here with, well, higher reading level, not necessarily older on the subject. The subjects are great in the Thunder Egg. Fun. Okay, then there's Billy. Sounds like I was going to eat it. Actually, books should be that fun, right? Billy and the Mini Monsters, he finds these little mini monsters in his shelf, and you get to go on their adventures as they go through. Kids love the graphic novels, colored pages, only $4.99. Those are awesome. And then we have a big thick one. If your kids like big thick ones, The Travels of Ermine. It's a little combination of a couple of stories where Ermine accidentally picks up the wrong bag. She picks up the jewel thief's bag, and this is what it looks like on the inside. Super funny, very thick, so it's very fun to learn. Very fun to carry around when they're ready for a big thick book. Okay, then we're starting into some girly, and then I'll get into some that are a little more high adventure. So Secret Mermaid, again, they are the heroes. They're going to save the day. Pictures on several pages. I think almost every page, not every page, but almost. So we're getting a little bigger there. Secret Mermaid, if you have someone into that. And then we have fairy unicorns and fairy ponies, to not get them confused, because I do all the time. Whether they like unicorns or ponies, they both work, right? So fairy unicorns, again, they're all dilemma. They solve it. The stories are such a great place to learn lessons and life lessons. They're safe. Your kids don't have to be out in the real world and get hurt in any way out there, and they can learn different lessons in fairy ponies. Okay, then I love Shine. There's a couple in the series. Bethany sings out. She is at a school for the arts, and she's on scholarship, and she lives in a poor neighborhood, and the bully girl or mean girl finds out and threatens her to let everyone know, but then they find out a different way, and her fears were in naught, because all her friends weren't upset that she was on scholarship. They were like, wow, that's awesome. You're here because you're so great at singing. We're all here because our parents bought us to come. So it turned out she was fearing nothing. So again, another reason to read chapter books, even as your kids get older. If they're not reading them, read them to them at night. Sit in the doorway with the lights off and read them these stories, because when they picture the picture in their head, it can really help them. It actually increases their attention span. Okay, then we have two in this series, a zebra and an elephant, where Tanglewood Park, her parents own the park, the zoo, and what they learn at the zoo, she learns in her home, kind of parallel lessons going on that are really fun. And then we have Wolves of Greycoat Hall. I think there's two in this. I believe there's two in this series. This is a great one about getting along as a family and kind of family history, and some cool twists that I can't tell you. Then if you would like a penguin as a pet, Einstein the Penguin, definitely was a say on there. For an unforgettable new friend has come to stay. So that could be really fun as well. We're kind of getting out of the pictures now, less pictures. And then a little bit younger here, but more adventure books. We have our Bear Grylls. Lily is a great team player, but she finds it's hard to speak up to make herself heard. So they all have different things, different dilemmas to learn, little lessons to learn, and they get whisked off with Bear Grylls' compass, his magic compass, and by the time they make it back to their friends, they've learned that lesson and saved the day. Then we have Spider Bite, Extreme Adventures. These are kind of like I Survived, if you love the I Survived series, because he has to I survived the spider bite, which is kind of funny because I have a spider bite right now. Then Leo and the Monsters. When Leo opens his assignment, so they get different in his communities. They get different assignments when they're 9 years old, but the kids will love it. It's really fun. And then this book will self-destruct, kind of a 007 taste to it. I was surprised how funny it was if you've watched, your James Bond movies. I can't get to a different page. There we go. Where you can see some more of the words. Super funny. It does self-destruct, and there's a poster in the back of this front cover. So that's a great graphic novel. Okay, now a little bit older books. We have the the Unicorn series. Sometimes there's a couple in the series, and sometimes the unicorn's good, and sometimes he's not. I call them advanced fairy tales. So if you have someone who wants an advanced fairy tales, then sometimes you want to learn about the extraordinary lives of others. I love the monochromatic here. I don't know if it's called, yeah, that's what it's called. Going through to keep it interesting of Serena Williams. There's several in that series as well. There's 3 in the Girls with a Voice series, historical fiction. I know there's a set of them as well that can save you some money, but we're getting up to about that historical fiction, about that level. And then some fun fantasy. What I loved about these, start with Firestar, then go to Wolf's Howl, Maven and Reeve mystery. Each chapter is from a different, the first chapter is from Maven, then the next is Reeve, and the next one's Maven. So you get to hear the same situation with different points of view, which is always keeps the story really fun, and there's lots of mystery and things involved, and adventure involved there. Then I love Butterflies. She's burned when she's young in a fire, and so her skin doesn't grow with her. So she has to have skin grafts. So now she's in high school and she's all scarred, and this boy likes her, and she didn't expect anybody to like her. So it talks about how inner beauty and how she decides she's beautiful even with the scars. I do suggest they wait until they think boys are already cute, but once they think boys are cute, they can go for it, because she does kiss her boyfriend in the end, but it's very Cinderella. Okay, and then we have the complete Dickens, retold stories of Dickens, which could be fun to have as they start out explaining things, and then pretty good wording there, pretty heavy for the complete Dickens. Okay, thank you.